So let's wait for a minute. Students are joining the lecture. So far, 5 students joined the lecture. So let's wait for a minute and then we'll proceed towards the last topic of unit number 1. And then we are going to solve some numericals. And students, as I told you in previous session, thermodynamics is a purely numerical based subject. So we are going to solve numerical in every unit. So while solving numerical, ensure that you have a notebook with you and a engineering calculator. So in previous session, we started last topic in unit number 1, and that topic is energy and various forms of energies. Okay, so we discussed energy is nothing but capacity to do work, and there are two important types of energy. One is stored energy, another one is transit energy. Stored energy means the energy which is within the system, stored within the system, and the various types of stored energies, various forms of stored energies are kinetic energy, potential energy, and internal energy. So we discussed that energy in detail in previous session. Then we come to the transit energy. So energy in transit or energy which are observed across the boundaries of the system, and that energies are heat and work. And then we gone through a definition of heat and work. So whenever there is an energy transfer by virtue of difference in temperature between system and surrounding, so the heat interaction or the heat or energy associated due to difference in temperature is heat, and anything other than heat which is observed across the boundary of the system is a work. Uh, so if you have any doubts so far, please ask. You can ask in any language. Language is not a barrier, but only take care. Your question should be either in Marathi, Hindi, or English. You can unmute yourself and then you can ask the question. Okay, so there is no question. Okay, so to check whether you are present mentally as well as in a lecture, so let's have a test. Okay, so I am putting a link in a chat box. The link will be active for 2 minutes. Okay. So I pasted a link of a test in a chat box. So attempt the test, and the student who attempted the test, I will mark them as present for a lecture. So we are monitoring the attendance of each and every lecture. Okay, so far 7 students, 6 students attempted the test. Remaining students, hurry up. So the question is, heat transfer is. So this is a multiple choice question. 4 options are available. You have to choose the correct option. The first option is path function. First option is point function. Second one is path function. Third one is transfer function. And last one is none of the above. So 19 students are present in a lecture. Out of 19 students, 14 students attempted the quiz. So let's check. The name of students who attempted the quiz. Names are available in a Excel sheet that we downloaded from the Microsoft form. So 15 students attempted the quiz out of 19 students. This indicates only 15 students are mentally present in a lecture. Other students just join the lectures where they are not in front of the screen. Okay, so I am stopping the quiz now. Okay, so the test is based on a content that we covered in previous session. So the question is heat transfer is, and the options available are: first one is point function, second one is path function, third one is transfer function, and fourth one is none of the above. And the correct option is path function. Okay. So there are two types of functions in thermodynamics. One is point function, or which is also called as the state function, and another one is the path function. So we learned in previous session most of the properties of the systems are point functions, and transit energies, that is heat and work, these are the path functions. They depend upon the path followed by system and not on the state of the system. So that's why heat transfer is a path function. Okay, so let's proceed to the lecture. So again, in the previous session we discussed about the challenges to the engineer. So main challenge to the engineer is increasing a conversion of heat into work by ensuring a sustainable development, taking care of the environment. Thereby we can increase the efficiency of the thermal power plant, and again increasing or ensure minimum work to remove maximum amount of heat in refrigeration, again taking care of the surrounding. So that are the challenges to the engineer, and we need to tackle with these challenges. And for dealing with these challenges, you need a knowledge of the thermodynamics. Now let's proceed towards the sign conventions. So as we discussed, heat and work are the transit energies. They depend upon the path followed. So sign convention is very, very important in work as well as heat. Okay. So whenever work is done by the system, it is taken as positive. Means if a system is producing the power work, then that system is having a positive work. Students, please understand, work done by the system or work produced by the system, then it is a positive work. Let's take an example of a steam turbine. So steam turbine is producing a mechanical work. So whatever work is produced by steam turbine, it is a positive work. Now let's take again a second example of an electrical fan. In day-to-day life, we are using an electrical fan. So electrical fan required a work. If you consider electrical fan as a system, then work is required on a electrical fan. Means work is required on a system. So in that case, the work is negative. Means whenever a work is supplied for operating a device, then that work is having a minus sign. And whenever any system or device, if it is producing the work, if its work is by the system or work is from the system, then it is with a positive sign. Now let's come to the sign convention in case of a heat. Whenever heat is given to the system, it is taken as positive, and whenever heat is rejected by the system, it is taken as negative. Let's observe this diagram over the slide carefully. So you will come to know this is the system. If work is given to the system, then it is having a negative sign, and if work is from the system or work is produced by the system, then it will have a positive sign. Similarly for heat, whenever heat is given to the system or heat is supplied to the system or heat is added to the system, it will have a positive sign. And when the heat is rejected, heat is removed, heat is extracted from the system, then it will have a minus sign. So I hope you understand the sign convention. Okay. So whenever heat is added into system, it will have a positive sign, and whenever heat is rejected from the system, it will have a minus sign. Now the next one is types of work interaction. So we are learning heat and work, and then in this slide we'll try to understand different type of work interaction that is involved between system and surrounding. So first type of work interaction is either expansion and compression work, or it is also called as the displacement work. So whenever there is expansion or compression, so the energy which is possessed by the system or energy which is in transit is nothing but a work, and that work is also called as the displacement work. So we'll see what is displacement work in detail. Then second form of work is a work of reversible chemical cell. So due to chemical reaction, and that chemical reaction, if it is reversible, again there is a work interaction between system and surrounding. Third one is work in stretching of a liquid surface. So liquid surface is having a surface tension, and when that liquid surface is stretched, so work interaction will be there. So that is third type of work interaction. Fourth one is work done on elastic solids. So certain solids are elastic in nature, so work is required for their deformation. So that work done on elastic solid is again one of the work interaction between system and surrounding. And fifth one is the work of polarization and magnetization. So let's see these works in detail. So first type of work interaction is the displacement work, or which is also called as the expansion or compression work. So we know force exerted, or we already learned a definition of pressure. What is definition of pressure? How to define pressure? Students, what is pressure or how to
Pressure
define
is
pressure?
defined as force applied per unit area.
Absolutely correct. Force per unit area is pressure. So from this definition, we can write force is equal to pressure into area. Correct? Okay. And again, we
Yes,
know
sir.
work done is equal to force into displacement. Definition of work: force required to displace. Then work is force into displacement. If we replace this force with this equation, so displacement work will be pressure into area into displacement, that is dl. Okay, and again we know area into length or displacement. So area is in meter square, displacement is in meter. So product of area and displacement, it will have a unit of meter cube, and meter cube is a unit of volume. So we can replace this area into displacement with dV, change in volume. Okay. So the displacement work will be pressure into change in volume. Okay. And if this displacement work, generally we the most common example of a device where we can observe this displacement work is the piston cylinder arrangement, one of the more popular example. Okay, so piston is continuously reciprocating in a cylinder, and due to reciprocation, a work is required for reciprocating the piston inside a cylinder. So that work is nothing but a displacement work. Okay, so if the piston is moving through a finite distance, say 1 to 2, means the system initially it is at a state of 1, and after some time interval there is change in state of the system, so system will at a state 2. Then work done we can evaluate by integrating this PdV. If we take an integration of PdV, then we can get the amount of work interaction associated with displacement of the piston in a cylinder during this process 1 to 2. Okay, so this is the one of the important form of the work, displacement work. So this slide again explain about the displacement work, how to calculate the displacement work in different thermodynamic processes. So first one, if you observe this PV diagram, pressure versus volume diagram, and one process is represented over this PV diagram. The system is undergoing change in state from 1 to 2, and if you join this 2 state, we get a thermodynamic process, and this process is carried out by keeping pressure constant. Here you can observe during this process 1 to 2, P1 is equal to P2. This straight horizontal line indicates P1 is equal to P2, means this process is carried out by keeping pressure constant. So what is the name of this process in thermodynamics?
Isobaric process.
Absolutely correct. Very good. Perfect. So whenever a process is carried out by keeping pressure constant, that process is called as the isobaric process. So this is the isobaric process, and if you want to calculate the displacement work during this process, so it will be given by integration of PD and limits 1 to 2. So this will be the displacement work in case of this process. And if we integrate, so P is constant in this process, so integration of dV. What will be the integration of dV?
V.
Absolutely correct. V, and limits 1 to 2. Or we can write, if we use the limit, so it will be P into bracket V2 minus V1. So this will be the displacement work in case of constant pressure process. So similarly, there may be another type of process. Again, let's come to the second diagram on same slide, second graph. So it is a graph of again pressure versus volume. So there is volume on x-axis, pressure on y-axis, and again the system is undergoing change in state from state 2 to state 1. And during this change in state, if you join these two states, we get a thermodynamic process. So which property is remaining constant here?
Volume.
Volume. Perfect. Very good. Other students, please try to answer, or at least put your answer in the chat box, so that I will come to know that you understand the particular topic. At least answer in the chat box. Chat box is available anytime. You can write your answer in chat box. Okay. So perfect. The answer is perfect. This is a constant volume process. So system is undergoing change in state from 2 to 1 by keeping volume constant. And what is the name to the constant volume process?
Isochoric process.
Perfect, perfect, good. Isochoric process, very good. Okay, so whenever volume remains constant, that type of thermodynamic process is called as the isochoric process. Okay, so what about the displacement work in case of a isobaric pressure? Sorry, isochoric process. So here pressure will be P2. At state 1, pressure will be P1, volume is constant. Displacement work is given by, what is the displacement work? Integration of PdV. Again limits.
So displacement work will be 0 in that case because we are differentiating constant value.
Absolutely correct, absolutely correct. So, so here, if we observe this dV is nothing but a change in volume. So dV is V2 minus V1. But in this process, V2 is equal to V1. So this dV will be 0. So 0 multiplied with any value, again it will be 0. So displacement work will be 0 in case of constant volume process. Okay. So we can evaluate the displacement work for different thermodynamic processes. Again, we are going to learn this in detail in coming lectures. Okay. So here just understand what is displacement work and how to evaluate the displacement work for different thermodynamic processes. Understood? Okay, now let's come to the other forms of work that are not so significant from thermodynamic point of view. So we just scroll through this. Stretching of wire. If you take a wire, one end of wire is fixed one, and if you apply a force at the other end, then that work is some work is required for stretching a wire, and that is work done on a system for stretching the wire, and it is given by force into displacement. Okay, so amount of force applied over the wire and the change in length of the wire is the work required to stretch a wire. So again, it's one of the form of work or energy in transit. Then electrical energy. Again, we know whenever electrical current flow through a wire, okay, so there will be resistance to the flow of wire, and the amount of electrical energy flowing through that wire, it is given by EI dt according to Ohm's law. So it will be current into voltage into time interval. So that will be the electrical energy flowing through a wire. It is according to the Ohm's law. So current multiplied by voltage with time interval. So we get a electrical energy. Next form of work is work due to stretching of a liquid film. Okay. So let's take a soap film, and if it is stretched through an area of dA, change in area is dA, then displacement work or the work required for stretching this liquid film, it will be given by minus sigma into change in area, where this minus sigma is surface tension. Surface tension is in, what is the unit of surface tension? What is the unit of surface tension?
Newton per meter.
Absolutely correct. Very good. So Newton per meter. Perfect. So Newton per meter is the unit of surface tension. So due to this surface tension, a work is required for stretching this film. Okay. So we blow the air soap bubble. So some work is required. That blow work, the amount of work required for blowing that liquid film is again one of the transit energy in the form of work interaction between system and surrounding. Okay. So understood different forms of work. Now let's come to heat. Again, there are different types of heat, but before going through the types of heat, let's first understand the mode of heat transfer. Again, heat, we know it is a transit phenomenon, or it is energy in transfer. Okay. So for transferring energy, a medium is required. For transferring heat, a medium is required. So according to the availability of the medium, there are different modes of heat transfer. So what are the different mode of heat transfer? Conduction, convection and radiation. So let's observe this diagram, the campfire. Okay. So we get energy here due to our hand come in contact with the flue gases. So heat transfer due to contact is conduction. The mode of heat transfer through contact is conduction, or conduction is in solids. If we take a rod and if you start to heat this rod, so this heat will be transferred from one end to the another end through heating of the molecules. So this again, these flue gases will come in contact with this rod. So due to this contact of flue gases and this rod, there will be heating of the rod. So this mode of heat transfer is conduction. Then convection. So convection is through flue gases, and last one is the radiation. So radiation is due to the electromagnetic waves. So we get energy from sun in the form of radiations. So sun rays, we get energy from sun through radiation. Or take a simple example, if we want to heat a water in a pot, that is in kitchen. So when we keep a pot and switch on the gas, so first heat will be transferred to the material of the pot. So that type of heat transfer is conduction. So through conduction, heat will be gained by the pot, which is generally made of stainless steel, aluminum, or exceptionally it is from copper. So first that pot will get heated. So that mode of heat transfer is conduction. So if we fill that pot with the water, so heat will be transferred from the pot to the water. So that mode of heat transfer is convection, and again that heat will be rejected from that hot water to the surrounding. So it will be in the form of radiation. Okay. So if you want to differentiate clearly between these three modes of heat transfer, so conduction, it is generally between solids. Convection, it is between solid and fluids. And radiation, it is purely between gases. So by this way, the heat is transferred from system to the surrounding or from surrounding to the system through these three modes of heat transfer. Understood? Conduction, convection and radiation. These are the three modes of heat transfer. Okay. So in TY, third year in BTech, you will have a separate course on heat transfer. So you are going to study conduction, convection, radiation in detail. So there will be a separate unit of conduction, convection and radiation. So in thermodynamics, you just understand what is heat, different mode of heat transfer, what is conduction, convection and radiation. Okay. I hope you understood the mode of heat transfer. Now come to the various forms of heat. So heat may be in the form of specific heat, it may be latent heat, it may be sensible heat. Okay. So again you learn this various forms of heat in elementary science or in 11th or 12th. So we'll just revise here. Specific heat is defined as the amount of heat required to raise unit mass of substance through 1 degree Celsius. So that type of heat is called as specific heat. Okay. So according to the definition, unit mass of substance means per kg of substance. It is energy. So unit of energy is joule. So unit of specific heat is joule per kg per Kelvin. So from this definition, we can derive the unit of specific heat. So specific heat is measured in joules per kg Kelvin. What is latent heat? Roland, what is latent heat and what is sensible heat? What is latent heat?
Sir, latent is the amount of heat required for a body to change its state or a phase from one phase to second phase.
Perfect, perfect. So you, as a student, you generally get confused between sensible heat and latent heat. Okay. So whenever you want to define a sensible heat, always remember, whenever there is rise in temperature of a system without change in phase, that type of heat is the sensible heat. And whenever heat is transferred to the substance, its temperature remains constant, but there is change in phase of the substance. That type of heat is called as the latent heat. So latent heat is responsible for phase change of the substance, and sensible heat take care for increasing the temperature of the substance up to its saturation temperature. So these are the two important forms of heat, sensible heat and latent heat. So understand, sensible heat, there will be a rise in temperature of a substance in sensible heat, and if the temperature of a substance remain constant but there is change in phase of the substance, that type of heat is called as the latent heat. So latent heat may be latent heat of vaporization, it may be latent heat of fusion. So if we again take the example of heating a water in a pot in a kitchen. So as soon as we start to add heat into the pot, so there will be different mode of heat transfer. Through this different mode of heat transfer, heat will be transferred to the water and the temperature of water will start to rise. So that heat is the sensible heat. Suppose the initial temperature of water is 25 degrees Celsius, and if you heat the water up to 100 degrees Celsius, so amount of heat required to increase temperature of water from 25 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius is sensible heat. And again, if you continue to add heat into that water, so water will start to evaporate. It will start to boil. So there will be change in phase of the water. Water will get converted into steam. So that heat is the latent heat. Understood? The different forms of heat: specific heat, sensible heat, and latent heat. Now, how to differentiate between heat and work? Okay, so some points are mentioned here in this slide to differentiate between heat and work. So heat is a transfer of thermal energy between the system, and work is transfer of mechanical energy between the two systems. Heat is a low grade energy. Again, we are going to study this concept of low grade energy and high grade energy in detail in unit number 5, availability of the energy. So here you just understand heat is a low grade energy and work is a high grade energy. So just for your information, why heat is called as a low grade energy? Because heat is easily available. If you burn a wood or if you burn a paper, we get a heat. So for generating a heat, we doesn't need any special type of arrangement, special machinery, special equipment, or special technology. We can generate heat very easily. So that's why heat is categorized as a low grade energy. But if you come about the work or a mechanical work, it is categorized under high grade energy, because a technology is needed to convert this heat into work. Let's take example of a motorcycle. So whatever heat is liberated due to combustion of fuel, that heat is converted into mechanical energy and the motorcycle will cover the distance. We can move from one place to another place with negligible efforts. Okay. So lot of technology is required. A engine is required, a gearbox is required, a transmission system is required, a clutch system is required, braking system is required. So lot of cost is involved converting this low grade energy into high grade energy. That's why work is a high grade energy. And the third important one is the efficiency of converting heat into work is very low, or it is lower. Thermal power plant, heat energy of a fuel is converted into mechanical energy, and that mechanical energy is converted into electrical energy. So that conversion ratio is very low. Conversion of heat into work is low, and in here opposite to that, the efficiency of conversion of work into heat is higher. Electrical heater. So if you have a electrical heater of 1 kilowatt rating, so if you give input 1 kilowatt electrical energy, we can get heat up to 900 watt or even up to 950 watt. So efficiency of conversion of work into heat is high. Okay. So I hope you understood the difference between heat and work. So Sorry for the interruption. Because of the power failure, there is an interruption in a lecture. So I rejoined this lecture through a mobile. Somebody please tell me whether I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So almost we completed the unit number 1 here. So for 1 or 2 minutes, we'll discuss what we learn in unit number 1. So in next lecture, again, I'm going to conduct one test to check whether you understand the unit number 1 or not. And again, in next lecture, we are going to solve at least 2 or 3 numericals on unit number 1. So ensure that you should have a notebook and calculator with you in tomorrow's lecture. So in unit number 1, we gone through the fundamentals, properties, gas laws, then definitions of macroscopic and microscopic viewpoint of learning the thermodynamics. Then we define properties, various types of properties. That is intensive property, extensive properties. Then we covered path function, point function. What do you mean by thermodynamic process? What do you mean by a cycle, thermodynamic cycle that we learn? And then we come to the zeroth law of thermodynamics, a statement of zeroth law of thermodynamics. Then we define temperature, different temperature measuring scale, different temperature measuring devices. Don't get confused between temperature measuring scale and temperature measuring devices. So there are 4 important temperature measuring devices. Can you name that 4 temperature measuring devices? So there is thermometer, mercury thermometer, constant volume gas thermometer. Third one is thermocouple, and fourth one is the electrical resistance thermometer, or which is also called as the thermistor. So these are the 4 commonly used temperature measuring devices. And then we learn energy and various forms of energy. There are 2 types of energies, stored energy and transit energy. And we are interested to know more about the transit energy, that is heat and work. So we define heat, work, then we gone through the various forms of work interaction, that is displacement work, stretching of wire work, work required for stretching the liquid film, electrical work. So these are the various forms of the work. And then we studied in detail the displacement work. And then later on, modes of heat transfer, various forms of heat. Okay. So here unit number 1 is completed. Just we are going to solve at least 2 or 3 numericals for practice purpose, and then we'll proceed towards the unit number 2. So if you have any doubt, please ask. So wait for a minute so that I can download the attendance.